Welcome to 7-Minute Disney Tips, a video series that hopefully 7 minutes at a time, though I sometimes run long, helps you plan an enjoyable Disney vacation, whether it's to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruises. I even cover some other destinations in some videos as well. And so today I'm going to talk about rope drop. You may have heard that term. You've probably heard me use that term, depending on what order you've come across these videos and have watched them in. But what is rope drop? So literally what rope drop is it is cast members at a theme park that have a rope inside the park that they keep guests at bay with before the actual park opening. So because the parks at Disney World are so crowded and so popular, the crowds tend to form very early, and as you saw in some of my other videos, that's a big recommendation from me. They do arrive early, and so they start scanning tickets early. They start letting them through security early, otherwise the lines would really get backed up and cause a big problem, and they have to have room for some of those people. So typically as the morning goes on, they will sort of slowly advance people. They'll let them pass the gates, but then maybe not into the park itself. But then eventually, to free up space and to allow that process to continue, they will let people into the parks. Now, guess what's going to be open? Shops are going to be open early, and snack places are going to be open early. You can get your donuts, you can get your coffee. Those things are all going to be open for you too. So this is not just Disney being nice. There's some behind the scenes reasons there to do that for them. But they're going to let you into the park. So if we think about Magic Kingdom, it's maybe down Main Street. If we think about Hollywood Studios, it's sort of down Sunset Boulevard, down that main area. Animal Kingdom has a little bit more space to work with, and then a lot of this is predicated on what rides are popular at the time. So the newest rides is where the crowds are going to go first, and so they'll maybe tend to steer people a certain direction or another. Now, the rope isn't always literal anymore, but there was a time, and it's still at times, there is literally a physical rope that two cast members will hold, and again, back in the day, they literally dropped it, and then people would run. Sometimes very literally sprint, and hopefully people don't do that anymore. Please don't do that. There's no reason for that. Somebody's gonna fall. Somebody's gonna get hurt. It's just foolish. Like you're that close. Don't run. Everybody just walk. You'll get there. You'll see everything. You've arrived early. You've planned. You're gonna be just fine. Don't take off running. You look like an idiot. But that's what it is. It literally is someone dropping a rope. Now they don't always do that. Sometimes they roll it up and then release you, or they don't physically do it. There'll just be some cast members there. There's usually a little pre-show right before they drop the rope. It's varies through the year, so I don't want to get into specifics on what that may be because it will vary, it'll change. But there's typically some little entertainment. It's a little pomp and circumstance. Used to be a lot. Used to be a lot of pomp and circumstance behind it through the years. That's sort of gone downhill a little bit. It's not quite the same. And so why do you care? Well, you care because if you've seen some of my other videos, you know the early morning is the best time to be in the parks. You're going to beat a lot of people in. You're going to beat a lot of people to a lot of rides. And you're going to minimize your wait times by doing that. And so if you are there at rope drop, which is literally as early as you can be there, that's going to benefit you. Do you need to be right up against the rope? Do you need to be the first person? No. It's kind of cool to be one of those first people. It does also make it a little bit tempting to run, especially if somebody behind you runs, and that's even the worst kind of person. And I've actually got a whole video on people at Disney, so you can check that out too and get some of my thoughts on that, where I perhaps lose a little bit of my cool. But that's it. That's what rope drop is. It's for those that have arrived super early and are at the front of the park, and it's literally them holding you back from official opening and letting you get into the queue and onto the rides. They will occasionally sneak that in earlier on some days than others. There are days when it's just not busy, and they kind of don't even do it all the time. But if there's any sort of crowd levels at all, if there's been a new ride, even in the last year, they're probably going to do it. They may only do it for a section of the park because that's where everybody's going, right? A brand new ride just opened within the last month. Everybody's going there. Little alternate strategies: go elsewhere. Like let everybody go that way. You go everywhere else, and you can ride 3 or 4 things while they're all waiting in line. Even though the shortest line of the day, it's still going to be 30 minutes possibly. It's not going to be 90 to 120 later in the day. But that's topic for another video. So that's rope drop, literally a rope that gets dropped to let people continue on all the way into the park, and it's something you'll experience if you're there super early, an hour or so before the park, to get in line, get ready for that, and be part of that first group that gets in once the rope is dropped, even if always not literally a physical rope. That's still a good part of a good plan, is to be there for that event. So remember, as always, when you do it well, planning is part of the fun. Thanks for watching.